Gene Deal and Suge Knight are now joining forces to expose what they call Diddy's darkest secrets. In a startling revelation, Gene claims that Diddy has been acting as an FBI informant for years, quietly feeding information to federal agents while concealing his alleged involvement in Tupac Shakur's murder. But the story doesn't stop there. Gene says he's now being targeted for speaking out and was recently attacked by people loyal to Diddy. The situation has turned dangerous, and Gene Deal's safety may be
He's going to go to prison. And if he do, it'll be something very, very small. It wouldn't be nothing what the people think. I don't think he's going to go nowhere long. And at the same time, you got to look at it. The best witness they had was KPD. KPD been informant for a very, very long time. And KPD is getting ready to go to trial for Tupac. KPD said it. Everybody else know it. And KPD says the money came from Puffy to keep Tupac and myself. So if they really wanted Puffy that bad, KPD would have cut a deal with them, down that stand, and broke it down. That'd have been the Rico right there. That'd have been murder for hire right there.
And I got a lot of respect for you, Suge. I got so much respect for you, bro, because when this East Coast, West Coast war could have been shut down, Pac was living, Big was living, Eric B, Big D, y'all set up there and y'all was going to set up a meet. Everybody who had something to do with it was supposed to show up. And Pac refused to. You didn't, brother. You wanted this shit to be over with. Even though you didn't for Puff, y'all wasn't dealing with each other no more. I remember when you and Pac was in the car behind the House of Blues. You was in the red Rolls Royce, Pac was in the white. I was in the car when Puff rolled up on you and said, "Yo, Suge, we got any problems down here?" You said, "Bro, I don't know any problems you got." That was even after Jake was. You said, "Brother, I don't know any problems you got."
Suge Knight and Gene Deal remain two of the few insiders who truly know what happened the night Tupac was killed. Suge was in the car when the shots were fired, while Gene was allegedly with Diddy as the plot was being formed. On September 29, 2023, nearly 27 years after Tupac Shakur's murder, Dwayne "Kef D. Davis was formally charged for his role in the drive-by shooting. Now, in new court filings submitted in Nevada, Kef D claims that Diddy was the real mastermind behind the attack, allegedly paying him through a middleman named Eric Von Zip Martin. According to the filing, Diddy's alleged target wasn't just Tupac, it was Suge Knight too.
During the Biggie Smalls investigation in the early 2000s, the filing reads, the three LAPD and FBI agents were part of a task force to solve the shooting of rapper Notorious B.I.G., also known as Biggie Smalls, with the name Christopher Wallace. The task force, through a sophisticated criminal investigation, obtained sufficient evidence that would prove Mr. Davis was the leader of the Southside Crips and his gang was responsible for over 360 kilos of cocaine and PCP. Mr. Davis provided 3 interviews to obtain immunity from prosecution. The final interview were solely questions regarding the Tupac Shakur shooting, which Mr. Davis was also provided immunity from prosecution. So during a December 2008 interview with investigators, that is when Davis allegedly started to spill the beans about his one-time friend, Sean Combs, who he refers to as Puffy. He claims Sean Puffy Combs solicited Mr. Davis to kill Suge Knight and Tupac Shakur for $1 million. Eric Zip Martin, associate of Puffy Combs, provided Mr. Davis with a gun to exact revenge on Tupac Shakur for the beating Mr. Anderson received. Now, Davis reportedly told the investigators that even though the job had been partially completed and Shakur was killed, neither he nor Anderson ever got paid. He later revealed that he believes Combs had paid the go-between Zip Martin, who he claims kept the money for himself. And he said much of the same thing in a 2009 interview a year later, because according to the motion to dismiss, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, as far back as 2009, was in possession of the same set of facts that the Clark County District Attorney is now alleging makes Mr. Davis responsible for the Tupac Shakur. The Clark County District Attorney's Office has offered no reason as to why it waited another 14 years to prosecute a case against Mr. Davis. Mr. Davis has been irreversibly prejudiced by this unnecessary delay in prosecution of this case, and Mr. Davis's constitutional rights have been violated in an extraordinary manner never before witnessed in the annals of the American criminal justice system.
Days after Kef D claimed that Diddy was involved in Tupac's death, he was attacked in prison. Is it really just a coincidence that the moment Kef mentioned Diddy's name, he suddenly got assaulted? The timing feels far too suspicious to be random.
An update now on Dwayne Keefe D. Davis. He's charged in the murder of Tupac Shakur. Davis was in court again this morning after a fight with another inmate. Fox 5's Mike Allen walks us through what happened.
Dwayne Davis is answering for a jailhouse brawl. Here's what court records show, along with images from surveillance video released by Las Vegas Justice Court. On December 23rd, Davis was being escorted back into his cell when another inmate, Rockland Hamilton, who's also facing a charge, is standing to the right by a sink in this room. Hamilton walked over to Davis and squared up, looking ready to fight. They started throwing punches and grappling, and the officer escorting Davis called for backup, gave verbal commands too for the inmates to stop fighting, and then hit them with pepper spray. Before backup officers arrived, the two inmates kept grappling and throwing punches and were eventually separated after backup officers got into the room. Both Davis and Hamilton faced battery by prisoner charges.
Suge Knight is the only one who truly knows what happened that night, and he's openly claimed that Puffy was involved in Tupac's murder. Gene Deal has backed up Suge's story, saying the exact same thing. Even law enforcement allegedly knew about Puffy's role, but he was never indicted because he was feeding information to the feds. Diddy has reportedly been an informant for years, and everyone in the streets knew the kind of man he really was.
That caught my attention. You said that Suge, he's the only one who knows who Tupac. Why you say that?
Suge was there. Suge was there, and even though you were in a hostile situation and you've been, and guns was firing out, you're going to get that glance and that look at the individuals or the people in the car. Like Keefe D said, I spoke to Suge. We know each other from school. So in that time, if you speaking to somebody, you see who's in the car. You see who's in the car. If somebody got enough time to speak to you or say something to you and have a brief conversation, they got enough time to get a glance of who in that car. Now check this out. If they know each other and the windows is down and they spoke to each other, you don't think Suge don't know who did the shooting or who was in there? He said, I'll never say, because to him, he'll be a rat.
Allegedly, Diddy wasn't acting alone when he ordered the hit on Tupac. He supposedly worked through an insider at Death Row Records, a trader who knew Tupac and Suge Knight's every move. This insider, someone who blended in with the very people Tupac trusted, is said to have provided key details about when Tupac would be in Vegas, what car he'd be riding in, and who would be with him, helping set the entire
shooter, the person who shot Tupac. Did you get to see their face? And was this a person that worked for Death Row?
Yeah. What I would say is this. I'm not calling a certain person Judas, whereas names could go with those people are Judas. I know it was more than one person involved in the assassination. And respectfully, I would say that I gave the husband, I gave the wife, and by the way, they're black people. I stand on my blackness because I am black. So, out of respect to them and their project, you the homie, but you going to have to wait to see what really happened when they put it out. That's all I can say about that part. But it's no secrets.
The fact that he saw, and he was overworked, and that he saw things that just didn't make sense, and that he had to run down on Suge Knight, or would have if Suge Knight would have actually been.
I was thinking about that. If all of this stuff is true, Suge Knight ain't had
What you mean?
You think so, or do we
has
just not?
always been known as the boogeyman of hip hop. But if all of this stuff is true, Suge ain't had nothing on me.
Oh, you mean as far as the type of person they are?
Being a boogeyman.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like bad,
I didn't.
Bad boy for real.